Hello, everybody. I'm like literally off the cuff with this, and it's got just some basic problems. A head gasket, which is basic for this car. I mean, I guess if you've been there, done this 12 times over, then not this particular car, but I've had a lot of these B series engines, so it's not that I can do this in my sleep. So, but it's got head gasket problems. I want to show you what's going on really quick. I'll just start it up and show you that it's accumulating pressure in the coolant jackets, and maybe I'll do a compression test on all cylinders. And that's probably as far as I want to go as far as like showing what's going on, because I've already diagnosed this car, and nothing special. It's just a blown head gasket. At least we can know which cylinders have the bad compression, and when I finish it, do another compression test. I'm literally going to do a compression test this time, so you got to trust me on this one. I'm just not going to be like, oh well, it's running. No, I'm not. We're going to do that. Trust me, bro. Okay. Anybody ever said trust me, bro? You got to trust them. I'm going to start it up. It runs fine. It's just it consumes coolant and it pushes coolant out in some instances. So wouldn't surprise me if there's like head gaskets. The head gasket's blown in different cylinders, and I'm going to show you that it has pressure in the coolant system. Hopefully it's quiet enough, but right now nothing. When I start it up and let it run for like 3 seconds, pull the cap off, you'll hear air pressure. I don't think that was exactly 3 seconds. Oh shit. Oh, don't demonetize me. We're human. We all curse, right? You hear that? The pressure went into the reservoir. So yeah, this. Let me do it one more time. This is not unprofessional if I just leave the arm down there. Is it? Is it? This camera just wants to fall. Yep, see it again. So once it warms up, it probably get less and less severe, but it's bad. It really is. And the engine is cold. It's like I just moved it in the garage and I shut it down. So let's pull the plugs out. And if you don't have a compression tester, because it's so bad, probably could just take individual plugs out and see if it creates pressure in the coolant system. There's really not much coolant in here because it's consuming it and pushing it out. We have replaced the heater hose because that has ruptured at one point because of excessive pressure. The coolant jackets only support like 14 psi pressure, 12 around about that. It should have the psi on here. Here we go. The 1.1 bar. So that's 1 bar is what? 7 psi, right? So 1.5 is about 12. 1.1 is 1.5. 1.1 should be about 12 psi. So yeah, probably could just pull each individual spark plug out. It'll make this flacking noise, but at least if you can got a compression tester, you can kind of get an idea. But again, this right here gets less and less severe as it warms up because of how metal expands. All right, I'm gonna shut up. I'm going to pull number 4 out. We're going to do a basic compression test, inspect the spark plugs. What I'm expecting is the spark plug to be clean. All the other ones should have some sort of signs of combustion, like a black soot or red, depending on how the compression is inside the combustion chamber. Depending on if it's consuming coolant, they'll look clean. Depending on if it's low compression and not consuming coolant, it'll look foul. Okay, so there could be a couple different scenarios of how plugs can look. Now I'm gonna pull these plugs out with the impact gun because people don't like that. And what would I be if I never did that? So what kind of person would I be if I didn't pull these plugs out with an impact? I mean, it's gotta be like cringe times 100 right now. Probably shouldn't take all of them out, but I don't feel like going back over it. This is number 4. It smells like gasoline. That was a crank, initial crank. What's up with this? So we're gonna have a cold start. Are you serious, Brad? Don't worry, we got new plugs anyway, so we ain't using these. This one looks good. So this is 3. 3 looks really good, minus the dirt. This one is wet, so this could be low compression. Usually, if it's blown, you're gonna have like neighboring cylinders. How about I just do this and roll this camera up? It's 2. 2 is dry. So 4 might be our problem. So 4 and 1. Smell like gasoline. So we could just have low compression on 1 and 4. So I don't know specific, because 2 and 3 look dry and they probably burn a lot more efficient. Now, mind you, there's no coolant in here, so the coolant already got consumed and he drove it here, so it had time to burn off and dry out. Oh, we keep knocking this camera down. Let me get my compression tester. All right, we got a compression gauge. Turn this in here like so. We're gonna check our compression. Usually it's around 160-ish, 180-ish, depending on how good the motor is. Oh shoot, why is it doing it? I saw it moving. I just wasn't holding it. That's how you check your equipment. So this one, oh wow, that's really good. About 200. So I was wrong. Number 4 is pretty decent. But just because it has good compression don't mean anything. I mean, the leak down test really would reveal how much compression is the cylinder's able to hold when it's sealed. So compression tests work. They're just not the only option to rule out a problem. But again, I've diagnosed this already, and I know it's a blown head gasket. I just can't specifically remember which cylinder it was. So 180, which is really good. Moving down. Let's see if the cap produces air pressure. Nope. So the cylinder, I think it was like 2. I swear I think it was cylinder 2 that had the problem. This is the one we're going to next. So we just did cylinder 3, going to cylinder 2. Why am I going in reverse order? Because it doesn't matter. You know, we just the number 1 cylinder is always going to start where the time belt is. The closest cylinder to the time belt or timing chain. That's always going to be your number 1. Pressure's good on this one. It's decent. Not bad. Let's see if there's air pressure in the coolant system. Yep, there was a little bit of air. I don't know if you heard that. So 2, if I recall, was our problem. When I pulled the cap off, their air pressure did come through the coolant system. And sometimes, like I say, the head gasket will blow and have a neighboring cylinder because of how the block is designed. Let's see. Yeah, compression is good on all cylinders. Look at that. See, that's what I'm saying. Like the compression test is unreliable. Let's see if it has air pressure. Yep. So 1 and 2 are blown. And let me explain. So what happens as that pressure builds up, that the threshold of that head gasket varies. I mean, I've had them blow to where the car won't start on all cylinders, and I've had them only show signs of being blown when the car is fully hot. You know, this car may have a threshold of 140 psi. So when you apply 140 psi at that threshold, the head gasket is just can't support it, and it's going to leak out from the combustion chamber into the coolant jacket. And again, this is an open deck. I'm gonna show you what it looks like when I get the cylinder head off. So 1 and 2 are our bad cylinders, and we'll do a better inspection when we get them off. Check the block, check the cylinder head. Now, I didn't give you the history of this engine because I didn't want to sit there and talk too much without working and multitasking. But his brother went through it, and I want to say, Doc, don't hold me on it. I think his brother went through it twice. Don't hold me on that. But long story short, his brother worked on cars, and you know we all make mistakes. So I'm not gonna act like I'm perfect. And well, here it is. I just need me to go back over it and do a better inspection and see what's going on. So we may find some issues. I'm not gonna act like everything needs to be perfect on this car when I pull everything off from the factory, because I can promise you, when I had these engines, trust me, I didn't put the bracket back in the back, and the bolt for the exhaust manifold down at the bottom, the support to the block, I didn't put that back. I mean, the timing cover stuff, I didn't put it back. You know, did it my own way. So some stuff is missing. Don't be surprised or of whatever. So it is what it is. What's next? The only thing left is to start just pulling stuff down, and I'll just probably get some highlights of that, of me just pulling the valve cover off, distributor, power steering bracket, exhaust manifold, hoses at the top here, get those off, and the camshafts. I'm gonna get it at top dead center, zip tie those. Other than that, snatch the head off. I mean, it won't take me no more than 45 minutes, honestly. So just in case you've never done one of these engines before, the good thing about these older models vehicles is they give you a lot more information, and you didn't require any special tools to do the timing. So you see here, I'll try to color it in and wipe it off. This IN for intake. This is the intake camshaft, and the exhaust have an EX in that same spot, so you know where they go. What I'm doing, I did hit it with some brake cleaner, but this head is coming off. The oil shouldn't change and stuff too, so it's not going to hurt anything. I'm cleaning the spaces of the rocker arms, and just writing down the number such as 1 through 8. So I put them back and got to adjust the valves. We're not doing a valve job on this, so I don't have to adjust the valves anyways. It's just getting shaved because he already had this head service and the valves, a valve job if I recall properly. So if I recall, I have to look down in there between the valve springs and see if if they look new or not. If not, then we'll just have to do a valve job and adjust the valves when I get everything installed in reverse order. I don't recall it smoking, but I'm gonna ask him if it did. If so, we might as well just do it right while it's out, do a valve job. So we'll see when the head come off what it looks like. So I forgot Squilliam had ARP head studs in here, and one thing I've noticed, they're sitting at different depths. See that one? Look how flush. They're supposed to look like that, not like that. I'm not sitting real high. Somebody's just showing too much threads, which concerns me if they backed out or anything, or if he couldn't get them all the way down there, and that's what bothers me, especially on the cylinders that are leaking 1 and 2. So here's one here. The one in the back is a little high. These are flush. So the head studs are going to be different. They're studs. They're basically threaded shafts that go into the block, and then you're only installing the nut and the washer on the top of it versus the bolt. If I recall, we got head bolts now because I told him to get a whole new bolt set, and I guess he could probably put this somewhere to good use in a modified car. On a standard car, you don't need ARP head studs. It's just factory compression. Hell, you can even reuse the old ones and you'll be fine, if you have to. But it's recommended you replace them. These are not torque to yield, but they do stretch. And over the years, I mean, this car is a 20-something plus year old vehicle. Then you'll want to put new bolts in there because of how long they've been sitting in there. So, but these ARP head studs don't belong in a stock car. You don't need them. They're not going to do anything different. The head gasket is blown. It's blown. Can't do nothing about it. So let me get the proper equipment to get those head bolts out. We'll loosen and get the studs extracted so we can lift the head up. But I do need to pull the manifold off first. I'm just going to simply pull those 12 millimeter, if I recall, bolts off. Pull off these two here. And it depends on if I could move the manifold forward or not. Will determine if I need to go under the bottom and take off the downpipe bolts. So I'll pull those bolts off, take a pry bar, move that manifold forward, pull this dipstick, and continue extracting those bolts. I honestly forgot to drain the coolant of the block. I could pull that out. I recording and stuff, so that was kind of my dumb doing. Hopefully the coolant didn't get in it probably did get in the oil, which is no big deal because I still gotta drain the oil. Hopefully it didn't get in the cylinder. Hopefully it didn't. God, that was stupid of me. So on the ARP head studs, you have a nut, which is 13 millimeter on this car, 12 point, and then a washer at the bottom. Now, some of these, you might have mixed them up because some of them are longer than others, because these two center ones should be the longest ones and then all the other ones are the same size. Maybe he didn't put the proper one in the back. Maybe it's here. I don't know. When I pull them out, I'll know. But now I'm going to use like a 4 millimeter to pull those out, the studs out, and then I can lift the head up, remove the intake bolts, and pull the head off. I thought it was like a 5 millimeter, but I used what is this, 3/16 to get those out. When I say what is they, I mean what are they? These same size, Same size. This one I was questioning, but same size. He just didn't have that one threaded all the way. This should be the longer one. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. Those were correct. So now what I'm gonna do, lift the head up and put some cardboard under there, and then pull the head all the way off. That's the head gasket. See where it was blown? Right around there. So 1 and 2 was our problems. Like it was blown between the cylinders a little bit too. This head gasket don't look that great. I thought he just did it though. Maybe it's the quality of head gasket, I guess. Could be. I have to ask him what brand it was. This is an MLS style gasket. This is not a composite. Usually they're a lot thicker than this, if I recall properly. So I'm gonna put some cardboard under there, and it's gonna make a mess until I get everything, pull the intake manifold off. And I'll hold it, get a 12 millimeter, break those nuts loose, and pull it out. There wasn't that many bolts holding the intake manifold on, so when I put it back, I'll add the bolts that are needed. Yeah, that was my fault. I wish I would have. That was just dumb of me. Stupid. I can take my wet back, go around it, pull all that out, and that's what I'm gonna do, so I can get all that oil and stuff out of it. Take this opportunity to drain all the coolant out of the block. And so the only thing I gotta do is prep everything on the top, clean the piston tops, remove all the oil from the bolt holes for the head bolts, and I guess while it's up, just drain the oil, and well, while the head is out for service, drain the oil. So when I get it back, all I gotta do is put everything back on top, put fresh oil in it, and start it up. That's it. So here's the base of the head. Here's cylinder 1 and 2. So like where it's obviously potentially blown around here. We can see some of the remnants of combustion on the head there, and right between here. Like I said, so it wasn't bad. You know, you saw the compression, but it still wound up pushing into the coolant jackets. I mean, this explains it. This wasn't bad. Head gaskets are blown so many different ways, and here's another one here, mildly blown. Don't look that good. So we're gonna take this to the machine shop, and I'm gonna let them resurface it and do a cleaning. And this is not going back on there. This is just raggedy. It was hitting the camshaft, so that's not going back on there. When we get this back, when I get this back, we'll see what it looks like. Everything should be cleaned up. Oh, let's take a look at the valves. Valves. No, those valves look factory. If it need valve seals, we're gonna get those replaced. And I'm gonna let them inspect it, and I'm just gonna call Squilliam and let him know. And so we'll see what he wants to do, but I recommend we just do it right while it's out. So we'll be back. See you in a few days.